Hello and a very warm welcome to a new video here on my channel here at commaik. Today in this video I'm going to present the flagship of Reolink's surveillance cameras, specifically the 823S2. This camera offers 360-degree all-around surveillance protection with automatic live tracking, optical zoom, many AI functions, dynamic privacy masking and everything else you could possibly want. Whether this thing is worth the money is what I'll be looking into in this video. I'll show you what the camera has, what it can do, how to set it up, what functions it offers, how to access recordings, and of course all the AI features. We're going to tackle all of that together. And if you're interested in that, then definitely stay tuned because that's exactly what this video is all about. And back here in my office, I'll show you in a moment how to use the camera's individual functions for recording, playback, the AI features, and so on your phone or tablet with the app or on your computer with the client. But first, let's take a look at the camera itself. And as you can see, this is no small camera. It's a real beast. The Reolink 823S2 is a true monster. It's not just very large, it's also very heavy. The camera certainly weighs a few kilograms. Because it's made of metal, I suspect it's cast aluminum or something similar. In any case, the whole thing feels very high quality. What I have here is the PoE version. This means that this camera not only exchanges data via the network cable, but also ensures the power supply. So if you have a PoE network at home, you can power the camera directly through the network cable and don't need an extra cable. I think that's a great feature, for sure. In case you don't have a PoE network but do have a data cable, Reolink also includes a power plug. This means you can also power the camera via a standard power outlet and then feed the data into your home network via the network cable. Now, if you don't have a data cable but maybe just power, then it's best to go for the Wi-Fi version because this camera is also available as a wireless version. That means you don't need a network cable at the installation site, just Wi-Fi. It'll be transmitted just as securely and stably to your home network via the wireless antennas. Once it's in the home network, the data should of course be saved, and you have many options for that. You can either save directly in the camera. I've taken the cover off the back here, and you can see the slot for the SD card. It's normally screwed back on. For the cards, just use standard cards with the appropriate capacity and write speed. This 4K camera supports up to 256 GB, or you can use Reolink's own. Yes, SD cards back. The model that Reolink provided me with here, however, offers quite a bit more in terms of accessories. Among other things, I have a small network cable included. I have the connector plug with me to, well, make the transition to the network cable waterproof, and also various screws for mounting in stone with wall plugs or directly into wood. In addition, there is a safety tether included, which can be mounted directly over the bracket to provide an extra layer of security. You can mount the camera itself directly as it is on the wall. You see, for the cable, corresponding cutouts are already there, and if you don't have a wall mount but would rather have the camera on the ceiling, then you can open this arm up here, turn this mounting ring upwards, and a ceiling mount would also be possible. If you want to know more about the topic of camera installation, setting up the camera in the network first, then look at the top right. There I'll link the playlist with all sorts of videos that I've already made on this topic. And if you want to know more about the camera, about the functions, the specifications, where you can get the thing and how much such a thing even costs, then look under the video. There I'll link all the relevant data for you, including my links to the camera. You can order it directly. And while you're down there, don't forget to give me a like for this video, and if this is your first visit here with me, please feel free to give me a sub as well so you don't miss any new videos. Enough chatting, enough advertising. I'm now going to install the camera outside in the garden. I'll connect it and then I'll go through the individual functions with you step by step here on the client, or rather on my phone in the app. Down here in the garden on my test track, I have installed the Reolink 823S2. Right up there in the middle. To the left of it, you see the TrackMix camera, and to the right, the Reolink TrackFlex camera. And I think you can see it at first glance, the 823S2 is a really big chunk. The camera is very, very large. I installed it directly into the wood and supplied the cables via this box up there, well, with my LAN connection with PoE power and data. But there is also a Reolink junction box. where you can screw the camera directly onto to pack the cables in there a bit, protect them and hide them. I'll look up the exact model for you and put it in the video description. If you're interested, take a look to see if the right one for you is there. What stands out now in that sense, I hope you can see it well, all three cameras follow my movements. That's because all three are so-called PTZ cameras with active live tracking. All three cameras have AI functions that recognize me as a human, but they also recognize animals or vehicles, for example the robotic lawnmower, and follow these objects automatically if I set it that way. Live tracking. But what I noticed during the first recordings is the viewing angle. While the track flex as well as the track mix, through their dual lenses, provide an additional panoramic image. Provide the 823S2 doesn't have a panoramic view, but a relatively limited overall view, which means the recording from right to left. The width of the image isn't as wide as I'd like it to be. I'd prefer to have a bit more image in the recordings. At least at the height I've installed it, at nearly 2.30 meters here, it's not perfect. The camera should, in my opinion, be installed relatively high up or relatively far away from the area you want to record. Because that way you have a lot of image in the recordings, so a lot of, what you want to see. And if you do want to go into detail, the camera has a fantastic optical zoom. So for comparison, the camera is hanging up there. I'll show you some pictures later from here to that water barrel back there. The water taps, I hope you can see that. I'll zoom in so you can get a feel for how good this zoom is. So I really have to say it has definitely convinced me. What didn't quite convince me is, as I said, the image width, but the camera has many other functions. Besides the AI surveillance, besides the dynamic privacy mask, there's also area monitoring, line monitoring, and of course the basic functions. I'll show you all that in more detail now. I'll take you back up to the office and show it to you on the computer, on the client or via the app. You have the same functions. And if in the meantime you want to look under the video and give me a thumbs up for this video, I'd be very, very grateful to you. For all those who are new to my channel and haven't subscribed yet, now would be the right time to give me a subscription. And if you're interested in how much the camera costs and where you can get it and what the other specifications are, then feel free to look under the video in the description. Everything I use here, which I'm also convinced of myself, I'll link it there for you. You can take a look and order it right away. You know, my channel gets a small commission for that. You have no disadvantages. You have the same price, but you support me with it. Thanks at this point, and let's head up to the office. I'm back in my office and now have the live image of the Reolink 823S2 here. When I pan into the image with the mouse, I automatically get the menu for activating the microphone or also for activating the time-lapse mode. Here I can choose pre-made modes or create a time-lapse system myself. I always find this function exciting for observing movement sequences over a longer period of time. I can of course also trigger the alarm manually or switch on the lighting manually, but much more exciting is the PTZ control. With the PTZ control, I can move the camera via the cursor cross to the right, left, up, down, and additionally activate the zoom with the zoom button. As soon as the correct zoom level has been reached, an automatic focusing on the area takes place. You don't have to do anything else. Another function is the so-called 3D zoom. When I activate this, I can use the mouse to select a specific area, mark it, and the camera pans to this area and automatically zooms in. Directly below the 3D zoom is the guard point. This is the camera's starting point. I set this once, and after the interval expires, in my case 60 seconds, the camera automatically returns to this starting position. Of course, I can also force this return manually. To set the guard point, I first align the camera in the desired position and click on Reset Guard Point. Below the guard point are the presets. This means that I set the camera in various positions beforehand. Then switch to the preset menu and create a new preset using the plus sign. The presets are listed one below the other. They are practically defined areas, which I can quickly select this way by clicking on them, and the camera automatically moves into this area. With these presets I can also create patrols. This means that I can put different presets in a line, and I can also change the order if I want. When I start the patrol, the camera will move through these points in order one by one until I decide to stop the system. In this way, even larger areas can be monitored individually as the camera automatically pans back and forth. Now let's switch to the camera menu. Most settings are identical to those of other Reolink cameras. As a PTZ camera, there are some additional functions in the smart detection. Here I can activate auto tracking, specifically for people, vehicles and animals. This means I can individually determine whether the camera should only follow people or also animals. Additionally, I can set a horizontal range between which the camera should pan, left and right. The areas beyond that will no longer be visited by the camera. I can set a schedule for when the tracking should function. This means if you are in the garden very often yourselves, on weekends for example, you can take this area on Sunday and Saturday out of the schedule, and in this case would only monitor the workdays within the week with tracking. Further down there are more settings, including sensitivity. I leave the basic sensitivity at 40 or 41, but I always set the sensitivity for people, vehicles and animals to 100%. In my opinion, these are very good settings that I've had great results with. Under sensitivity, you can also set the alarm delay and the object size to be detected. Below that is the non-detection zone. In this zone, you define areas that may be filmed but should not trigger an alarm. These would be, for example, areas with many trees or moving objects. Below that, there's also intelligent event detection, for example, forgotten objects or removed objects. Here you define areas individually and the system sends a notification if packages disappear or new objects are suddenly added. Perimeter protection works similarly. You can define lines or zones that the system monitors automatically. If the lines are crossed or if someone stays in this zone for a longer period, you'll receive an alarm. I've set up an intrusion zone here by my pool. This means that I get a notification, an alarm message, as soon as someone moves into the pool. For this, I've defined an intrusion zone. The advantage of this version is that I can automatically monitor my pool this way. The disadvantage, in my view, is that setting up these zones only works via the app. If I conveniently create these zones here on the client with the mouse, they aren't fixed to the image, but to the lens. I'm panning the camera to the right, and you can see it. The square moves with it. That makes no sense at all, of course, so you really must create these zones in the app, because then the areas stay fixed in place. It's a similar story with privacy protection. In the display settings, you have the function to create a privacy mask. You can see it here in the image now, and I could mark areas here that should no longer be visible. I'll save that, and you see, the area behind the camera is now marked in black. But if I now move the camera to the left or to the right, this black square remains fixed. This also makes no sense at all, of course, as privacy protection is practically negated this way on a PTZ camera. Perimeter protection and privacy zones should therefore definitely be set up in the app. Via the gear menu, you also have all the functions here that are available in the client. In the display menu, I can now select the privacy mask. Activate the PTZ control. Move the camera slowly and carefully to the exact position you want, making sure it is aimed just right for your needs. Once you have it set up in the perfect spot, use your finger right here on the screen to create a privacy zone. This will help protect my neighbors' privacy by making sure their homes or personal spaces are not visible or recorded by the camera. If I now move the camera into this area, this privacy zone remains fixed to the object and not to the lens. But how does it look at night? I think absolutely convincing. You see here the black and white view in the middle of the night from the camera with the built-in infrared LEDs, which have a wavelength of 850 nanometers, a range of up to 60 meters is possible. That is significantly more than what standard cameras offer. I can also go very deep into the distance here with the zoom. The camera zooms in and the image remains extremely sharp even in the black and white view. The zoom adjusts itself automatically. I'll go a bit closer still. I think that these images are absolutely convincing. Additionally, the RLC 823S2 offers true color night vision. Here, 2 integrated LED spots, each with 4 watts of power and a neutral white color temperature of about 4000 Kelvin, are used. The LED spots can be activated automatically when motion is detected, or you can control the whole thing via a schedule, or you can of course also switch the LED spots on manually. After the image has built up, a really good color night vision is also shown here. Let's come to the conclusion of the Reolink RLC 823S2 camera. This PTZ camera is not really intended for the small garden, but actually, in my opinion, already for the commercial sector. If the camera is mounted high enough, you can optimally monitor large areas. The zoom is really a masterpiece. I have to say that. You can still see the areas back there that the camera zoomed in on. I was really absolutely convinced by the image there. The tracking is pleasantly smooth. The camera follows me, always keeps me in the frame. I liked that very much as well. What I didn't like so much is that the zoom is not included in the tracking. The camera follows me to the left, to the right, wherever I move. However, no zoom is included. That means people, objects and the like that are far away are always only captured by the camera in the wide shot and not zoomed in. The track mix or the track flex, for example, can do that much better. Furthermore, the field of view is, in my opinion, simply too restricted. If the camera hangs too low, so much of the image is simply missing on the left and right. I think I'm a bit better off with panoramic 180-degree cameras. But, well, what do you think about it? What is your opinion? Clear zoom, clear area, object being monitored, or would you rather have 180 degrees? Give me some feedback under the video in the description. And at this point, perhaps one more wish for Reolink. I think app control has something great about it when I'm on the go and can then access the camera at any time with my phone. However, I must also say I don't want to control everything in the app. I still want to do a lot on the client. And what I didn't like at all about this camera is the setup of the privacy zones, the non-detection zones, the perimeter protection zones. While I can do that on the client, if the zones aren't tied to the object but aligned with the lens, it makes no sense at all. If I set up the areas via the app, for example, the neighbor's house, then these areas remain nicely blacked out. You can't see it, just as it should be. However, the screen on my phone is simply too small to set that up precisely. So my big request is integrate this function properly into the client so that it can also be done on the computer. Or am I alone with my opinion on this? Give me some feedback. What do you think about it? What do you think about this camera, about the accessories, about the functions it has, the AI functions that the camera also uses? Feel free to write a comment under the video, in the comments section, so that we can exchange ideas with each other. If you want to know what a camera like this costs, what accessories you actually need, then feel free to look under the video in the description. You know, everything I use here that I'm allowed to test, I'll link that for you under the video. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any new videos. And above all, you'll keep the chance to take part in the big giveaway again at the end of the year, where all the cameras have to go out again. I'm already looking forward to it. And at this point, I'm already done for today with the Reolink 823S2. I look forward to the next video with you. Take care, bye.